Alright, greetings people of the internet. I am Terrivian Vess, and today I will be playing the game Just King. I'm going to be doing a trial run with the Berserker to try to maximize the strength of this one singular unit in the game. To do so, I'm going to bring along a specific set of units to help out with that. I'm going to be bringing the Druid for additional healing, and I'm going to be bringing along the Plague Doctor for even more additional healing, and also so that the Berserker can carry the plague all the way to the enemies. So, actually, yeah, we do have too many units. I'll go ahead and disable the Strategist, and we'll take the Berserker. We'll give him the Scaling Vulture's Mask, that way he gains stats throughout the run, and let's go ahead and get this started. Alright, we have a pretty simple path here where we can get 4 event spaces before reaching the treasure, or we can take on 2 elites before reaching the treasure. Let's go ahead and get this started. The elites would make it so that we have more money and more items, however the event spaces would give us either tokens or very valuable items. So depending on how strong our team is, and if we're able to take on the elites, we'll have to make different choices. Alright, we'll take a second Berserker. That way, we get the Frenzy bonus, which gives us extra damage and speed every time we defeat an enemy, and to activate the Hasty bonus. We'll even swap over that. That way, this unit has more haste and is able to attack faster, and even able to enrage more often. Let's talk about the Berserker and their special ability. When they take damage, they charge up a meter, and once that meter is full, they enrage, and become unkillable, and heal a small amount of HP. Once they are done raging, they again heal a small amount of HP, and enraging also makes it so that they attack faster. However, the Berserker does leave the party, and so can die if they get surrounded by enemies before they're able to make it back. This is why it's important to have many healers, or at least very powerful healers. That way you're able to keep your guys alive while they're in between their rages. We're currently doing this battle on stage 4 of the game, where there is a Blood Moon, which can enhance the power of all units in it, though the enemy units tend to benefit more. We now have the Berserker's special item from the robbery, wherein we are getting robbed, and we decide to hug the opponent. And this is a brilliant response to the Hedgehog's Dilemma, where we show kindness, everybody wins, and we get a special item unique to the Berserker and unique to this event, which increases the HP of the entire party and increases the intelligence of the Berserker when placed in the left slot. This is useful because the Berserker's Enrage ability has healing, and that healing scales 100% with the intelligence. So we go from healing probably 7 HP to having plus 7 and healing even more. Our team is now exceedingly tanky. We are going to buy another cleric. We are going to equip the hourglass over here, and we're going to buy a wicked crab, which makes it so that when our unit is hit, they gain 4 charges of bark skin, which then make following hits only deal 1 damage as long as they have charges of bark skin. This is possibly one of the most powerful items in the game and will greatly help the longevity of our team. Here, we aren't going to get a special item, however, we are going to get 3 tokens by reinforcing the bridge, which is unique to hasty units. We now have 4 hasty units, and so all of our units have all of their cooldowns reduced by 60%, and we also have the Heavenly Synergy from having 2 clerics on our team. This allows healing to increase a unit's armor, making them take less damage, and after accumulating a certain amount of healing, it will cause a large explosion, which I often refer to as a nuke. We have now upgraded the front Berserker using the hasty tokens that we gained from that event. We can now put more items on them in order to make them not die. We can also buy units in the shop and sell them to the Maw in order to gain tokens, or the MVP of a combat will naturally gain tokens. Alright, I think that we are able to take on the elites. Let's go ahead and sell this to gain a heavenly token. That way we can upgrade our healers later. For now, we're going into an elite combat. This elite combat has a Wukong, which is a unit that you can buy in the shop, however, is currently working for the enemy. Alright. Surprisingly, both of our Berserkers are alive after that. Now, unfortunately, clerics are unable to heal themselves, so we have to hope that they're able to heal each other well enough. It also seems that both of our Berserkers have ended their raids now, and so we have to run away until they are able to rage once again. And would you look at that, they're able to rage once again and we've managed to win the combat. Alright. Because we beat an elite, we have earned a loot box, which we are able to sell, and this gives us a variety of food and a random assortment of items of varying qualities. This time we just got common items, but that's okay. Our Berserkers seem to have more than enough HP, so I'm going to use this food in order to increase the HP of our cleric. Now that increased it by a bit more than 5, because the plus 25% health from the Kala Lily also impacted it. We are then going to give this pizza over to our Berserker with the Red Vulture Mask. This is because, during this trial, I want to try and get this Berserker to be as strong as possible. Giving them extra HP didn't seem like it was going to matter too much, so I gave it to the Cleric. However, I will try to focus most of my investments on making this Berserker, or this one over here, as powerful as possible. For this reason, I'm actually going to swap them out. That way, this unit has the bonus to intelligence, as this plus 7 intelligence does not affect the entire party. Alright, with that done, I will sell another paladin for more heavenly tokens and more tough tokens, and then let's move on and fight the Oni. Alright, the enemy summoned a lot of archers. I'm going to try to keep my second barbarian from raging until such as a time. That way, one of them is raging and one of them is not. That way we have someone back to stay at higher HP. You can tell when a barbarian is able to rage again because they will have a little icon next to them that looks like a bear. This shows that they are currently unable to rage. Alright, we got exceedingly lucky in this shop. I'm going to sell all of the garbage items that we got last time, and unlucky, we opened the loot box and we still got garbage items. That's alright. We're going to buy a Berserker and level this unit up to level 2. That way we are able to put more items on them, including a wrench that allows them to stun nearby enemies once they take damage. We are then going to try and upgrade this other Berserker, and we're going to sell this Cleric to get the last hasty token that we need. At level 3, we unlock the super ability of the Berserker, known as Blood Boil. After taking damage, they deal AoE damage, based on how low their HP is. This scales with intelligence, which is boosted by the Kala Lily. The cooldown to this ability resets when enraged. Alright, we got even more food, so we're going to give more HP to our Cleric, and a little bit of HP and a little bit of strength to our number 1 Berserker. Alright, that seems to be everything we can do here. We'll proceed into the next combat, where we should be absurdly strong and easily win. Alright. Despite being level 1, our clerics are able to keep up with the amount of healing required for these two berserkers. And each enemy that we defeat only makes our berserkers stronger, as they gain higher and higher stats thanks to the Vulture Mask. Alright. I'm now going to go ahead and upgrade this cleric and give them the eel liver, increasing their haste by 50%, making them attack even faster, and I'll make it so that they deal additional damage for the first time that they hit an enemy. This is useful because they don't deal much damage on their own, and it's pretty slow, but this is a good way to get at least some damage out of them. Alright. I'll also go ahead and sell this Cupid for additional heavenly tokens. Alright, we got an Odinson's Hammer out of the chest. This ability has a long range as indicated by the bow icon, and it does not scale with haste as shown by the crossed out hourglass. This does lots of damage to enemies, but it depends on how close they are. The closer the enemy is to the unit with the hammer, the more damage it does. So, I am actually going to remove the Wicked Crab and give the Odinson's Hammer to the Berserker. I am then going to buy the Diplomatic Recommendation for extra intelligence on our Cleric. That way their heal does an additional 4.5 HP. That, combined with the fact they attack faster, will certainly make it so that we no longer need the defense provided by the Wicked Crab. However, we can also repurpose it and give it to our other Berserker. Alright. I will sell a Cupid for additional tokens, and it seems like someone new has arrived in the shop. This person we can give our tokens to that we aren't able to use, and they give us food in return. We'll give some chocolate to each of our clerics, and then we'll bake some pizza and give it to our Berserker. You can also use hotkeys, such as pressing the A key, or the left key, in order to feed the unit on the left. You can also press C in order to cook food. However, we want to hold on to these heavenly tokens, as we're able to use them to upgrade our clerics who are still not max level. Alright, we are now forced into doing a elite combat at the start of the Act 2, and then at the end of this, we'll be fighting the boss. So, we have our choice of fighting another Wukong, fighting the Ronin, fighting a Slayer, fighting the Captain, fighting a Wukong, or fighting a Ronin. And then we'll have to take a path along this map. I've decided to fight the Ronin, go up through this question mark space, and continue doing some combats until I can reach the second treasure, and then deal with a couple of elites at the end before finally fighting the boss. The Ronin is the last unit that is unique to the Zone 4. The Ronin attack twice per time that their cooldown goes off, making them quite adept at dealing damage, and at level 3 they're even able to do several slashes in a zone while disappearing from the map. It seems like he didn't get to perform his super move, however, as he got destroyed by several bears knocking at his door. Alright, this time we opened the loot box and we got a tier 2 item, another Wicked Crab. However, unfortunately, we don't have a place to put it. What we do have, however, is we can buy a Cleric, buy a Berserker, and then use the 2 heavenly tokens that we have saved up, as well as selling these 2 other items that we've gotten in order to purchase a Swift Banner, granting additional movement speed to the entire party. I am then going to lock the shop. That way, everything in it stays where it is. I am then going to sell this wrench and buy this one. That way something new shows up in the shop despite the fact that it's already locked. Then, since we do have a frenzy unit, I'm going to give that over to our bear. Alright, let's head into this question mark area, and we could get the loot, which would provide additional intelligence to the entire party, which we can view in the compendium. This event gives us the untuned loot. However, it requires it to be attuned to a heavenly and left unit. However, the Kala Lily is already taking up our leftmost slot, so we wouldn't be able to get as much value out of it as we could. However, I'm still going to complete the event, as I feel like we will be able to level up all of our hasty units without the need of these additional tokens. That, and the plus 4 intelligence to the entire party, is pretty valuable. Alright, let's see. Well, I don't think we need the Wicked Crab, and I can sell this Rabbit's Clock, and I can buy the Golden Harpy Banner. I was planning to save for the loaded dice in order to re-roll the shop later. However, buying the Golden Harpy Banner provides additional 15% haste to all units and 15% haste on this unit, which I believe will be more valuable. Alright, let's run back into some combats. Alright, in between waves, I'm going to take a water break, because staying hydrated is important. Here you can see the bear's inability to die while enraged. However, it seems like their bears were not nearly as strong as ours. Alright, we can now fully level up the Berserker, getting us a second unit with Blood Boil. I'm then going to equip them with the Emberberry Necklace, which makes it so that when they get hit 3 times, their next attack does a large AoE that also slows enemies down. This is useful as the Berserker gets hit quite often. This time the enemy appears to have brought clerics themselves. However, I don't think this is going to save them from the wrath of the Berserkers. Even just a single Berserker is more than enough to take on the entire enemy team. It seems like almost nothing can stop our army of exceedingly powerful bears. Alright. We still need to upgrade our clerics, however. Upgrading them to level 3 allows them to stun units that get too close to them and resurrect allies from the dead, which could be useful against the boss in case one of our bears unfortunately ends their raids at a moment when they're getting stabbed by several clock hands, which would be rather unfortunate. Alright, I'm going to purchase the helm here, that way my Berserker takes less damage from attacks. The formula is rather complicated, however it's still important. Unfortunately, due to only using hasty units, we don't have anyone who can do something special in this place, so instead, we're going to have to see what the king does when he tries to win the fishing tournament. Well, it seems like we didn't win much, but we did get a little bit of money. Alright. Oh, there's a loot box available in the shop. Let's see what it gets us. Ooh, a piggy bank. We can put this on the king in order to earn some extra money in the next combat. However, he won't be healing as often. We can then provide the food to our berserkers, and then we can send a cleric over here, a hasty token from the berserker over there, and, once more, a heavenly token from the cupid. This leaves us with a few leftover tokens that we can turn into food for our berserkers, and we now have a level 3 cleric. I don't think we're going to be able to see the revive ability in one of these regular combats, however, you never know. The enemy captains are buffing the enemy damage to really high numbers. Let's see what happens if one of our units does manage to die. As expected, the cleric brings them right back to life, and they get back to doing what they do best, hitting things really hard and really fast. Once more, I'm making the move to sacrifice this unit's ability to attack faster in exchange for speed for the entire party. I'm also going to buy a loaded dice for later on, when we can use it in order to re-roll the shop for cheaper prices. I'm then going to use the last cleric in the shop, but I'm not actually going to do that, because this cleric can level up naturally in the next combat that we fight. This chest has contained another rare item, the Twin Lightning, which allows any unit to attack twice as fast. Well, This certainly seems like a good opportunity for our strongest Berserker, and we can replace the old Berserker's Rabbit's Clock with the Odinson Hammer. Now, I'm going to change out this Golden Harpy banner and place it on the King, which gives 15% less haste to this cleric. However, I will then be doubling their intelligence, which also includes the intelligence granted by the diplomatic recommendation. This will increase their haste astronomically high, allowing them to heal for an insane amount, as well as buffing their HP by making it so that if they take 5 hits, they die, but they no longer have an HP bar. This 5 HP sealed can also be healed. Alright, we're now going up against a champ who attacks really fast. We better make sure that he doesn't accidentally hit our cleric, otherwise they will basically immediately evaporate. And the extra movement speed allows these bears to charge into the enemy archers. Well, it seems like we had nothing to worry about, as the bears once again prove that being immortal and being able to hit things really hard with an axe is a really good combination. Alright, let's move into the next elite combat. We're going to be facing down the Oni once again. And now we have 2 revives per wave. With how strong our Berserkers were before, this shouldn't be an issue. The King also cleanses our Berserkers of any fire debuffs they may have gotten from all of the enemy archers. This enemy Oni, however, is able to knock back our Berserkers. However, that seems to have only delayed the inevitable. Oni are usually a rather strong unit capable of healing their allies when hitting enemies. However, not in this situation. Alright, we now have the Ruined Saber, which I'm going to place onto the King. This legendary item summons ghosts in order to attack the enemies, and it scales with intelligence. It also grants intelligence to the wielder equivalent to how many summoned units are on the field. We don't have any summoned units, but luckily this item always counts for 3, thus increasing the King's intelligence by 3 and a little bit of the damage of the Blades of the Faithful Dead. Alright, I'll also be buying the animated handkerchief just for a little bit of extra damage when those ghosts do show up. Clearing up the inventory a little bit before heading into the last combat before the boss. Let's go ahead and fight the Sun. The Sun is a unique unit who functions on the time of day. Whether it's day or night, he's fairly powerful, but at dawn and dusk, he's not very strong. We're moving into night, where the Sun is able to attack exceedingly fast. And one of them even turned into blazing rays of the sun, forming the sunset. However, our ghosts and our berserkers were able to deal with them. Alright. The Red Vulture Mask has done well for getting us to this point. However, it unfortunately won't do much in the boss fight. So, I'm going to be taking it out of the inventory and instead buying a Pocket Cleric to replace it. I'll then be placing food onto the Berserker, selling several of the items in my inventory, and then I'm going to take the Odin's Hammer and I will place it in the bag. I will then place the loaded dice onto the Berserker. I will then sell the loaded dice from the shop in order to reroll both the Red Vulture Mask and the Odinson's Hammer into different items of the same rarity. This nets us a pair of Goodwind Boots, which give the front unit additional armor unless they're low on HP, in which case they instead give the whole party movement speed. The Red Vulture Mask, however, stayed the same, so let's see if we can re-roll that as well. I'll be selling the animated handkerchief, and instead buying the Shattered Saber, which is a legendary item very similar to the Ruined Saber, but instead it grants strength. This now makes it so that my unit is giving himself plus 6 strength during combat, and plus 6 intelligence, as well as summoning ghosts and ghost archers in order to pin down the enemy. We'll then sell this other loaded dice that we have, and see if that changes anything. Alright, we now have the Official's Hook. Against the boss fight, the Emberberry's Necklace ability to deal AoE damage isn't going to be very useful, so instead, I will be having the Berserker gain health every time he hits an enemy, and he attacks enemies fairly fast, once every 1.3 seconds, and about once every half a second while he's enraged. Alright, that's about all that I can do here, as the shop hasn't provided anything new, so instead I'm going to sell the units that are available here, turn all of the tokens into food, and then decide what to do. This unit no longer benefits from HP thanks to the blazing helmet, so I'm going to give the chocolate to the other cleric, and I'm going to dump the rest of the food into the unit that we've been stacking for the entire game. This unit now has 30 strength, 41 intelligence, 138 haste, 30 movement speed, 2 armor, and 101 HP. Not only that, but when they die, they'll be resurrected with 100 HP, and this can happen every 25 seconds. They can also be revived by the 2 clerics in the party. Alright, let's see how we fare against the boss. Alright, we managed to survive the Ronin's attempts to attack straight through our Berserkers and kill our clerics. That was a close one. Alright, it's time to fight the boss. The boss attacks with several slashes, an AoE that appears on the ground. However, we should have enough speed that doesn't affect us too bad, and they summon several Ronin to their side. Oh no, it appears that the boss has Berserkers of their own that are also very hard to kill. However, our Frenzy bonus is giving us additional speed every time we defeat an enemy, so this isn't actually that bad. As long as there are enemies for us to destroy, we deal increased damage and increased movement speed, allowing us to hopefully get out of the way of the AoEs before they can take care of our healers. Alright, we are now entering the boss's second phase, where they'll slash more often, and they'll also be dealing more damage with their attacks and taking half damage. Alright, seems like it's time for the clerics to have to deal some damage of their own. Oh no, it appears that our combo has run out due to not defeating enough enemies in a quick enough time, due to the boss's cutscene. Well, at least the clerics are still able to deal 41 damage to the boss whenever it gets too close. Seems like the boss has even managed to clone the king, and it's unfortunate, but one of our berserkers has perished. Luckily, our cleric was able to bring them back to life. Let's see if we can finish the boss off before they manage to kill any of our units again. And we have defeated the boss on hard mode. Alright, and our berserkers managed to get MVP. The boss fight took around 2 minutes to complete, but that was it. Alright, that's been the Berserker trial. Thank you for watching.